Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the virtual world. It's cold out here in Canada, and we're southern Canada, the Windsor, Detroit area, and it's frigid here. I don't know what the weather's like where you're at, but it is cold here. As you see, I'm in the cat jacket. I'm all bundled up. So, some big news. With me, anyways, last Friday was my court appearance, my final court appearance, and it was for sentencing. Ended up pleading guilty to, I guess it would, the money laundering, proceeds of crime, and 6,520 trafficking charges of cannabis. And the sentencing was pretty weird. Pretty weird. I ended up getting 180 days or 6 months or 26 weeks house arrest. I ate the rap for the co-accused, everybody that was on the going down the pipe with me. Anyways, I ended up taking everybody's rap, and at the end it was just house arrest. There was no fine, which I was really surprised. Really surprised because Mark Emery and other people have gotten massive fines, like $600,000 fines and stuff like that, right? So I ended up getting a $200 court surcharge at the end of it, and I was fine with that. Now my stipulations are to keep the peace, obviously, reside at home. If I'm not at home, work. Sunday's a different day. I could be out, let out for 4 hours to see my brother, 4 hours to buy the necessities of life. The necessities of life. Okay, so I go out shopping, whatever, right? If I need a special permission to attend a funeral or Christmas, let's say a Christmas party, I got to go through a probation officer and get special permission to do this, right? So, or do that, whatever. So I'm happy with the current situation. I'm working 12-hour shifts anyways. Last night was 12 and 3/4 hour shift. So 6 months is going to fly by. Okay, what do I got now? 25 more weeks. So I'm almost a week. Tomorrow midnight will be 1 week into it. So 25 weeks. And I'm happy with the outcome. Really, I am, because now I'm free to do what I want to do, how I want to do it. Well, not yet, but in 25 weeks, right? If I want to go on vacation with the wife or do whatever I want to do, right? I've been on bail for 6 years. And my lawyer stated, I'm not a risk to society at all. Can you guys hear me all right? I got my diesel truck running here. So I'm not a risk to society at all, right? And that was a key factor in the house arrests. I've been on bail for 6 years. I haven't even had a parking ticket, so if anybody qualifies, I guess it would be me, right? But I was quite surprised because I have 35 previous cannabis convictions, and some of them landed me in prison cells for a while. Okay, once was 60 days for an ounce of pot, and another one was 14 months for 18 pounds of pot. So if anybody qualified, it would have been me, right? I've spent 32 years of my life, 33 years of my life on some sort of stipulation for cannabis. That's a long time, man. I'm only 54 years old, so I've been at it a long time. I'm an activist. I was writing a book in 1992. I even told the judge I was writing a book in 1992 on the social benefits of cannabis. This is in 1992, and the money that's made from it could go to social issues and this and that, right? So it was always a dream for me to open up a store and just do charity, right, with that store. And that's what was going on, right? And the judge took in the fact that, hey, it was all medical cannabis, and if you came in the store, you signed a waiver. So the police came in to make their buys, obviously, and they lied on the application. They filled out the application. They said they were there for medical. Okay, they made the buy, and that's how they ended up shutting it down, right? So it is what it is. At the end of the day, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. I'm sleeping a little bit better now, right? There's no forfeiture assets of mine that they're coming after or any of that. So it's all done with now, and that was part of the plea deal, right? So Bobby DiPietro, which is a Windsor criminal lawyer in Windsor here, he's got to be one of the best, right? And he's like, Leo, I don't know why he didn't come to me with this right in the beginning, right? Because he would have beat it, and he's known for beating serious cases, right? And he would have beat it. But I had another lawyer who suggested all this could go away, Leo, if you rat out certain people, right? And I said, listen, I'm 54 years old and I've never ratted anybody out in my life. I'm not going to start now. I fired her. As soon as she said it, I was like, and then she said, no, they're coming after your house and this and that. And I was like, fucking, you know what? And I gave her a big chunk of money, right? And she wanted a bigger chunk of money to take this to trial, but she wasn't the trial lawyer. But as soon as she started talking nonsense about ratting people out and snitching this and that, I fired her ass and I went over to Bobby DiPietro and I told him the situation. I said, Bobby, she wanted me to rat out this guy, that guy. I said, it's not going to happen. Okay. My integrity is like this. Okay. I'm not going to rat anybody out. I'm going to go to jail for a very long time. Okay. And so be it. If that's the case, I'm not going to rat anybody out. It's not me. Okay, I'm not cut from that cloth. Never was, never will. You know, I grew up amongst bank robbers, pimps, hustlers, thieves, you name it, okay? And that's just not the code. You want to be a rat, we all know what happens to those guys, right? So it wasn't me, and I just... glad I went to Bobby, and he's like, I should have came. I said, I dumped you off 2 co-accused, right? Because I was worried about the 2 co-accused. They were young. One was a girl. So I gave her the best lawyers in Windsor. Okay, I got her the best legal you could get in Windsor because I was worried about, she's young, right? I don't want her to have a criminal record over this shit because she was working in one of my stores. So I couldn't use him at the time because it would have been a conflict of interest. And I knew this, right? So after she was dealt with, and I ended up firing my lawyer, I went over to him and he was like, yeah, man, I would have taken your case, no problem. I said, I know you would have, right? But yeah, he's a great lawyer. I highly recommend him if you're ever in trouble. Troll Slayer, you know who he is. If you're ever in trouble in Southern Ontario, in my neck of the woods, I highly recommend him. His son's working. He's the apprentice lawyer of his son, and he's an associate in his business. And he's a really good guy. I could talk to him, you know. I talked to him, and he was like, Leo, man, fuck, you're an activist. You're not going to jail. So whatever the last lawyer was talking shit about, okay, she has no clue on how to run this, right? I said, I just want closure. I'll plead guilty to it. I just want closure. I don't care if I'm going to jail or what, right? You know, and he got closure, and it was really fast. So I'm happy with the situation. Now on to other news. United Healthcare CEO executed in New York City. Wow. Look at that sun shining through here. Uh-oh. We'll move that this way. So he was executed in New York City. I don't know the details of it, but I can only just speculate, and we know what this is all about. A lot of it probably has to do with that thing that was going around in 2020, 2020, and the vid. We can't talk about it on here, but that's my speculation. Somebody got a bad dose, and it was payback time. So expect a lot more of this to happen in society because people were fed up, okay, with what's really going on in the world, right? And they should be. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. But I can't wait to hear the details on it anyways. And then we got the Governor Trudeau of the 51st state. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. I'm not worried about people, America's going to come over, and we're the farthest from their mind. I'm sure Trump's not stupid. We're a very resourceful country. We have everything from Well, we can just start naming off the lumber, the gas, the oil, the nickel, the cobalt, the aluminum, the uranium, the water. That's a big one. Water is the lifeline to humans. Uh, we have it all here. We're a multi-trillion-dollar country, and we know it. We just got to get it out of the ground, right? And I wish we had a government that would just come out and say, okay, our debt's so big, okay, this is how it's going to work. We're going to open up a gold mine. Let's dig for some more gold, okay, because gold's at its highest peak right now. And we're going to use that gold mine to pay off the deficit. But we've never had a government say that, right? So it is what it is over there. But I would vote for a government if that's what their intentions were. Okay, and you have to, you got to pay your debts. Period. I got to pay mine. You got to pay yours out there who's watching, Charlie, COVID warrior, troll. We all have debts every month. We pay. Okay, you got to pay your hydro. You got to pay your gas. You got to pay your cell phone. You got to pay your mortgage or your rent, however it is. You got to pay it. And what happens if you don't pay it? You piss a lot of people off, and they come looking for some payback, right? And they'll shut your hydro off. They'll foreclose on your house, whatever. Your cell phone's gone. So you have to pay your debts, and when we're not paying our debts, we got a problem. So, go dig up a diamond mine, whatever, right? We got diamonds too. That's another one. Diamonds, we got it all here in Canada. And use that money to pay off the deficit. So we're not paying so high in taxes, okay? But I thought that was pretty funny, Trump inviting Trudeau to Mar-a-Lago. I don't know if he was invited or he just showed up. But I thought it was pretty funny when he said, "Oh, if you can't take care of your people, we will. You become the 51st state, and you can become a governor." I don't even like the attachment to that Trudeau as a governor. He don't even deserve to be a sales rep at a sex shop at a gay pride parade. Okay, the guy's useless. He's a tool. He's a fool. It's time for him to step down, right? But he's not gonna. So, worst case scenario, guys, I get to sit back and watch a show. I can't go out and protest. I can't go out and do this and that, but I could do it through social media, I guess. But I can't physically go anywhere. My hands are tied, and I'm just going to sit back, eat the popcorn, watch it like the Lions game that's going to happen here in a couple hours. The Lions versus Green Bay in Detroit at 8:15, I think it is. And I'm going to sit back and watch it just like that and bite my tongue on a few things. But I think it's pretty funny. Fancy Socks needs to go. He needed to go a long time ago. He just don't get it. And Jagmeet Singh don't get it either. Green up in Hamilton there, the mouthpiece of the NDP, who thinks he's going to be the leader of the NDP and possibly the prime minister. That guy's an idiot. Okay, there's a lot of them out there that won't even have a job here soon, and I can't wait. So worst case scenario, we're in December now. So next October, another 10 months to go. Hunker down and enjoy the show. Really, it's going to be a show of mega proportions, and I can't wait. So I have to get into work here in another minute. I got to go punch in. I like to punch in 10 minutes early and stay 6 or 7 hours later than I have to. Brutal. But that's what keeps me ticking anyways. Feels like, how can you work so many hours? Listen, what I'm going to do, go home and just sit around, clean, do whatever, eat, watch TV. No, I'll stay at work. I'll make money. I'll be productive. I'll do the right thing, right? No, don't be sorry that they gave me the time. I knew exactly what I was getting myself into, Charlie. And I thought it was great. And I still think it's great. If I was to do it all over again and I'd change a couple of things, but I would do it again in the New York second. Especially now, times are rough, times are hard. Here's your effing Christmas card for a lot of people. They don't have food on the table. The things I was doing with the money were, wow. I never dreamed in 1,000 years that I'd be that guy. I'd be that guy out there that Jake the gamer. Get in here, boy. He's working. You just make sure those chip bins are empty tonight. And clean up like it was when you walked in this morning. You could have ate off the floors. But a lot of people are hurting in this country, and if you can use cannabis as a social tool to fight that, so be it. Everything they told us was a lie about cannabis. Oh, yeah, people are going to die and this and that from cannabis. The only thing I see people dying for is from the food chain. We have poisonous onions, carrots, melons, you name it, right? You don't know what you're eating nowadays. So more people have died from the food chain than they have from cannabis. And it's just a sin that it's still before the courts. And there's a lot of people before the courts with cannabis related charges. A friend of mine, he got busted with 100 pounds. Shit, I don't know, 3 years ago. So he was all bent out of shape and worried, him and his wife and this and that. I said, listen, go see Bobby. So I hooked him up with Bobby, and Bobby just laughs and yeah, it's water under the bridge. Don't matter if it's 100 pounds or 1,000 pounds of pot. Nobody's going to jail for pot anymore. And that's a good thing. I'm not going to jail for pot. And if anybody in these parts would have been scheduled for a prison cell for pot, it would have been me. So if they're not sending guys like me to the clink, they're not sending people like you to the clink. So it's like Avon. It's a soft income for some people. It's legal. That's the thing. So when it's legal, how do you justify putting people in cages for it, right? They can't anymore. That justification's gone out the window. So I'm happy with the situation. Really, I am. Yeah, I just can't go outside and whatever, right? Who wants to go out right now? It's -6 outside. It's freezing. I just want to go in the shop. Like the way I'm bundled up. Railroad, I'm bundled up like I'm living in your neck of the woods. The cat jacket. This thing's warm. Super warm. Like I drive home at 3, 4, 5 in the morning from work. Well, last night was 5:30 in the morning. And it was so cold outside. I had this jacket on. And I didn't even turn the heat on in my truck. That's how warm it is, right? So it is what it is. Okay, guys, I got to get to work, but I was just reaching out, let you guys know personally, because you heard it from the mouth of the South, the man without a plan, the master of all your disasters. Yes, the convoy time. Well, this would be a great time for it, that's for sure. I wish I had this jacket when the convoy was going on up in Ottawa, but I really do got to go. They say the one who makes the gold makes the rules. Well, I'm not making any gold, but I'm making the rules. With that being said, guys, start a protest from home. Leo, I could. That's a powerful thing, this social media, for some people. You just got to tap into it and use it the right way. But I want to be careful on what I do. So I've been really reserved, even though I want to get to work. I still got a couple minutes. I had to be reserved on what I said about my case because I wasn't sentenced yet. And, you never know, right? If I'm out there saying, oh, yeah, no, right, the judge could come back and say, oh, really? That's the way you feel? I seen you on social media. So now that it's done, I'm not reserved anymore. I can say what I want to say. It's water under the bridge. I think the judge was a fan. She seen right through all the bullshit, right? So she was a fair judge. She could have been fairer and gave me 2 Purple Hearts and 3 Congressional Medals of Honor, but she wasn't that fair. She was fair in the sense that, hey, she wasn't sending me to jail, and that wasn't even in her vocabulary. The Crown's vocabulary, oh yeah, they wanted to say a couple years in the clink. And when the judge said he ain't doing 2 seconds in jail, so if you want to make a deal, let's make a deal. Use a lifeline. Call a friend. Do what you got to do. I got to go.